Cuba poses no threat to the United States. They are attempting to choke Cuba economically as they have been trying to do for the past over 6 decades, I would say. At this moment, they are threatening countries with tariffs to harm them if they, in use of their national prerogative.
The Caribbean is facing a crisis that could change everything, from energy shortages in Cuba to travel disruptions across the region. In this video, I'll break down what Trinidad, Jamaica, and your favorite Caribbean nations need to know, who's really in control, and what it means for the future of oil, power, and travel. If you want to stay ahead of the news that impacts every Caribbean viewer, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. The Caribbean is facing a developing energy and travel crisis that is sending ripples across the entire region. Today, Cuba is in the spotlight as fuel shortages deepen and blackouts become increasingly common, disrupting everyday life for millions of people. Families are struggling to keep the lights on, businesses are facing severe operational challenges, and the country's fragile infrastructure is being pushed to its limits. In response, many Cubans are turning to solar energy solutions as a temporary lifeline, installing panels wherever possible to maintain basic electricity needs. This energy shortage is not only affecting local communities, but is beginning to impact international travel as well. Airlines are reporting difficulty refueling planes, leading to flight cancellations and delayed schedules, and major routes connecting Cuba to other Caribbean nations and international destinations are becoming increasingly unpredictable. Tourism, a vital source of revenue for the region, is now under threat, and Caribbean economies that rely on travel and trade with Cuba are closely monitoring the situation. In Trinidad and Jamaica, viewers are paying attention because energy and oil remain a cornerstone of regional geopolitics.
Jamaica just declined to load fuel onto Cuba's LPG tanker following new US sanctions that penalize any country supplying energy to Cuba. The sanctions mean if you help Cuba with fuel, you risk punishment from the US financial system. So Jamaica stepped back. Jamaica is dealing with hurricane damage right now, which makes energy security even more sensitive and shows how fragile this setup really is. Makes you question the timing also anyway.
Trinidad, with its significant energy infrastructure, watches developments in Cuba carefully, noting the potential for market disruptions or shifts in trade patterns. Jamaica too faces a watchful eye toward regional energy trends, especially as fuel prices and availability in one Caribbean nation can influence supply chains across the region. The current crisis in Cuba provides an important case study for other Caribbean nations, highlighting vulnerabilities in energy security and the need for diversified solutions, whether through renewable adoption, regional cooperation, or foreign investment. Observers are also noting the potential for political implications as Cuba seeks assistance from neighboring countries and global powers, creating an intricate web of diplomatic engagement. Mexico has recently stepped in to provide humanitarian aid to Cuba, supplying essentials like food, water, and energy support equipment. This move has drawn attention across the Caribbean as it signals growing international involvement in Cuban affairs. Aid shipments are critical in keeping the population afloat during the blackout crisis, yet they also underscore the country's reliance on external support, highlighting broader regional vulnerabilities. Trinidad and Jamaica, along with other Caribbean nations, are tracking these developments, considering their own national security and energy resilience in response to sudden crises in neighboring countries. Meanwhile, international powers, including the United States and China, are observing and, in some cases, leveraging the situation to influence regional energy policy and economic partnerships. Energy experts warn that Cuba's reliance on aging fuel infrastructure and limited reserves creates an ongoing risk of instability. They suggest that without long-term investments in renewable energy, infrastructure upgrades, and diversified supply chains, similar crises could occur elsewhere in the region. Caribbean governments are analyzing this situation closely, weighing the cost of energy imports, the feasibility of solar and wind alternatives, and the potential for regional collaboration through organizations such as CARICOM. For Trinidad and Jamaica, this serves as a reminder of the importance of proactive planning, as a disruption in one nation can quickly ripple across borders, affecting not only energy supply but also trade, transportation, and economic stability. Meanwhile, everyday citizens are finding ways to adapt. In Cuba, residents are organizing community networks to share resources, install shared solar panels, and coordinate schedules for energy use to cope with rolling blackouts. Businesses are improvising backup generators where possible, but fuel scarcity and the high cost of alternative solutions remain significant barriers. In Trinidad and Jamaica, businesses and government agencies are monitoring the situation to see how regional supply chains might be impacted, particularly for fuel imports, energy-intensive industries, and transportation logistics. Analysts are warning that the effects could extend beyond Cuba, influencing oil and gas prices, shipping costs, and even tourism patterns throughout the Caribbean. Families and travelers are advised to remain aware of potential disruptions, as flights, ferry services, and local transport could be affected in the weeks ahead. The broader geopolitical implications are equally significant.